Oh,
There
the
you go.
money.
That's the
I love
right
it.
image.
I love it. That's the exact one I was thinking of too.
Exactly. It wasn't
Yeah,
the
that
one
was
we were
with all a
waterboarding
bunch
the
of shit
Queen
ton of
on the
50s.
20.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. I remember seeing like at least.
I tried to. I think it's about $1,000 right there. I think that's $1,000. As the notes say, about 1,000 smackaroos.
Wait, I'm trying to count it. It's 2, 3.
It's the nice, yeah, the 50s and the 100s. You don't see them much, but the 50s got,
9.
what is that? Oh, yeah, Canadian Coast Guard ship, so CCGS
I think it
Amundsen.
is exactly.
You know, the guy who went to the North Pole.
Santa?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Amundsen found the Santa and Anti-Santa at the South Pole.
Anti-Santa. You mean
Yeah,
Krampus?
she's your
The
aunt.
Easter Bunny?
Oh. Did you guys ever watch Rise of the Guardians?
It's a good movie.
I've watched
good
Rise of the
movie.
Guardians multiple times.
Okay,
Fantastic movie.
Woke something
Right.
up in me. I mean, what?
So what
What did you-
specifically? Yeah,
What do you mean by that?
Can you elaborate, please?
Elaborate.
It's classified.
No, I need to
Look,
know.
all I'm saying is if Hugh Jackman plays a bunny, I'm gonna be seated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I was going to
Live
start
action
saying
Ride of
anyways.
the Carzian remake. They
Yeah.
would never.
I don't know. DreamWorks is redoing some of their movies. We're getting How to Train Your Dragon shortly.
Suck.
They're doing a what? How to Train Your Dragon? Another
Reboot,
one?
live action reboot.
Oh.
I love how the highest honor for animated things is to get turned into live action things.
Which just ruins the entirety
Exactly.
of it.
Which isn't even an honor. It's more of like a dishonor.
It kind of is.
The new
it's like,
Avatar.
oh,
Like
you
we
love
really
this
respect.
series.
We really respect your service there. I don't know, like unnamed soldier here. Let me
DreamWorks or-
piss on your grave.
I named so.
That,
Damn, that is brutal.
are you guys gonna watch
I
the
could probably
live
do an
action
episode about
Avatar
unnamed
show?
soldiers.
I
What?
have
No,
no intention.
I've seen I've seen enough clips online to say that I'm not going to.
Me too.
I heard they
Say that I have watched the show.
they changed a lot of the like the moral values that the characters learn, like
Yep.
a lot of people talk about Sokka's sexism that was completely taken out, and they're like, he does get better. The point of his
that was
character
the point.
is that's kind of the point, and like he's still a good character. I think he's entertaining.
I'm
as
okay
well, so
with
it's like-
changes to an adaptation because if
Yeah,
we're
that's
just
the point of
remaking
adaptation.
something one to one, what are we doing
the
here?
story's not going to be any fun.
But like, yeah, you can't change the core values of a thing. I mean, they shouldn't have tried to reboot it at all.
What they could,
But,
there's like a type
there's
of
a way-
adaptation.
There's a way to do it right, like the movie.
Yeah, it's stupid.
That was a
There's-
joke, for the record.
Oh,
M. Night
Well-
Shyamalan did do better. That was my favorite Onion article headline ever. M. Night Shyamalan in response to live-action Avatar. See, asshole, it isn't as easy as you think, huh?
yeah, I saw that.
Saw
That's
that
good.
too.
That's really good.
Shyamalan's got a very interesting filmography.
I mean, was that the person who did the original Avatar movie, the live action?
Yeah,
one?
Shyamalan. Yeah, he also made like
Yeah.
The
See,
Sixth Sense. He made
the part of
Split,
the
Unbreakable,
problem with the Avatar movie is
The
that
Beach
they
That
did,
Makes You Old.
He kind of whitewashed the movie. That was his main problem.
That's
a
true, he
bit
did.
different than doing a bad adaptation. It's just horrible casting and like.
That-
Unless you're specifically
I think-
making it, like taking a different culture to it, which I don't see why you would do that with Avatar. The Last
Every
Airbender.
single element of
There's
that
just no
movie
point in
was bad from the start.
I have,
Yeah, all of them.
I've never
Water,
seen it, so-
air, fire, earth, all four of them.
all 4 of them.
I should
All
watch.
four of them.
I do want to watch The Beach That Makes You Old. One of his
Oh,
movies he made a couple
I
years
do not
ago.
want to watch The Beach
That
Makes
one
You
looks
Old.
stupid.
looks
It reminds
hilarious.
me of the Tower. I think it's called.
The Tower.
The Tower. It's
This
a
isn't
movie.
a beach,
Shit,
it's
what's
a
the movie?
bathtub.
Stop. Shut up.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
I have read the book that The Beach That Makes You Old is based off of.
There's a book for that shit?
It's called
Is it Stephen King?
Sandcastle. And it is one of the worst books I have ever read. I'm so glad
Oh,
I
it's called
pirated
Fall.
that shit.
Isn't the movie called Sandcastle as well? Or
No, it's called Old.
what's the movie called?
It's called The
It's
Beach.
just called Old.
The Beach That Makes You
Yeah, I
Old.
think it's called.
It's really just called The Beach.
But no, I fucking hate that book. It is so bad.
That book did you dirty.
First off, like, it just looks like shit. Like, I can't tell who anybody is. there's a lot of naked children in it, but it is French, so I mean, take that for what it is.
Yeah. I'm taking that for what it is.
Yeah.
French or pedophiles?
Yeah, no, it's weird, and I don't like it. There's not even a reason. Like, they just like have an orgy and they all die at the end. It's actually how that book ends. Probably my least favorite book I've ever written.
That's how it ends too, isn't it?
I honestly have not read it.
I don't know. Not quite sure.
I feel like I remember from.
I think.
Hey everyone, and welcome to. Don't even get me started. The podcast about slides about stuff, isn't that podcast about presentation about things?
Close enough.
Podcast about
do it.
M. Night Shyamalan movies. I'm Ethan. My pronouns are any and all. And joining me today are Ray and Connor. And just Ray.
Yeah. Ray.
I'm
She,
Connor.
And that's
Sorry,
Connor.
I fumbled.
On the screen in front of us is about $1,000 and some decently done nails, it looks like.
Good point. They're not bad.
But yeah, hey, welcome back. It's episode 8, and I am already run out of ideas. We're doing Heritage Minutes again. This time it's a different 10. It's not the same 10 done again, thankfully. It's just a different 10. Do you guys remember anything from the last Heritage Minutes?
I like
the guy.
I like the Roblox hoof.
Oh God, I hate the Roblox move. I'll be a stain on my legacy.
Oh, but
Thankfully, all of the Heritage Minutes that I have linked in these are official.
mm-hmm.
Like, they are all readily available on the Historica Canada YouTube page, as opposed to the last ones where you would have to endure shitty edits.
I liked that the Vikings one looked like a point-and-click adventure game from 1995.
it was fun, yeah.
Unfortunately, the graphical effects only go up from here. But yeah, all right, let's do it. Next slide.
How many
please.
Heritage Minute things are total exist?
102.
Holy shit.
Here is
We'll be doing
a
these
not
till
serious.
we die.
Yeah, here's a not serious photo. Let's get.
Well, am I supposed to
the whole thing?
go to the next slide?
You did say next
Oh yeah,
slide.
go to the next slide.
Also, if you haven't
He's
listened
already-
to the first
he's already
episode,
slacking,
it's
folks.
episode 2. Go listen to the second episode we
You
did.
can figure it
Or
out.
don't. You gotta do this one first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Is
play
that the-
play
there
this
it is.
episode in the background as you listen to the second episode, and then
Yeah.
learn nothing from either and listen to them both again.
that's true. On a
But on
different
opposite
another view.
platforms.
on a different platform,
Yeah.
so we get another view.
Yeah.
Yeah, so listen to one in only your right ear, listen to the other in only your left, then switch. So
That is
you'll
how you
earn
learn.
50% of both of them at different times.
Yep. Yeah. That's how it works.
Anyway, here is a completely serious image of Saguenay, Quebec on fire. So I forgot, I guess I should have maybe introduced, I don't know, the theme. I forgot, I wrote all the notes on the slide I put at the end about how to start the episode without moving the notes about how to start the episode to this one.
Good job. Good job.
So let me just go to that
We're a
slide
high
for a
quality
sec.
show that definitely plans ahead.
Ethan wasn't
Yeah,
planning
don't worry
this
about it.
until like 5 minutes ago. Don't worry. He's had this ready for days.
Oh, dude, yeah, I practiced in front of a mirror and everything. I imagine myself naked in front of you guys, or you guys naked in front of me, so that I didn't feel so nervous.
harassment.
I think about Ethan naked
So-
all the time. Don't worry about it.
It happens.
You know what? Good for you guys. Good for you too. I knew it was gonna happen one day.
I don't know how I got that one backwards. Must be because I didn't do it enough times imagining you guys in your underwear. Or wait, did I get that? No, I didn't. Whatever. This 10 episodes. It's determined by like a tiny dog shit survey, where I asked like 6 to 7 gay internet strangers of, hey, do you remember any Heritage Minutes?
Yeah.
My sample size is n equals 7. It's not very fucking big. I get it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But this isn't even one that anyone brought up. This is just what I assumed no one in a million years would bring up, because it's the one about the Saguenay fire. All this episode is about one wildfire in 1870. I don't know if
Are you gonna send us
if
the
either
link?
of you I sent the link in general.
Did you? Oh, you did.
Yes.
Oh, you did.
Connor, pay attention.
Forgive me. I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm playing
So
Clash of
for any
Clans.
listeners, remember, please
I'm not.
entirely
It's a joke.
click out of the video and load up the Saguenay Fire on a different tab, and then click in back into this so we get a second view.
Kind of zoned
And
out.
then do
We'll
that
give
the
you a
additional
minute.
10 times.
Yeah, however I did it the first time, whoever listeners who have listened to the second episode, do exactly what you did this time, but better. Yeah.
It just
We'll
do
just
great.
spin our wheels
Anyway.
for a minute while you watch it. The links will be
So
below.
this is
where they won't be.
it's entirely anecdotal that I think this is the most forgettable episode. Not because I simply disrespect the town of Saguenay, Quebec, but more because it's just about a fire on a farm.
Why do they have an American accent if they're in Quebec?
Oh, right. That was another thing that was interesting about this. So, I mean, so let's finish how the actual episode goes. Family's on a farm. Fire starts on a neighboring farm. They have to get all their farm animals out of the way and get in the river to survive. And the moral told to us by the narrator, again, is that their resourcefulness and character is what built this land. Yeah, great little extra. Another, chalk one up on the propaganda board, ladies and folks.
And that's
But
what Quebec had to offer.
that's all they had to offer. But this is actually the first one that we have looked at, and the first of two in this presentation, where because this was one of the early set we talked about. You know, my big Google Sheets document. This one came out in 1992, and a series of these early ones, you can tell that this one is dubbed over in English. It was originally recorded, I believe, in French. That's why the accent sounded a little weird, as you mentioned that. And there is more than one episode where an actor will clearly be doing their lines and everything in French, but they'll just be dubbed over in English. There is a French version of every Heritage Minute, I believe. So I imagine the same but reverse has occurred for everyone who lives in Quebec. But yeah,
I don't believe
entirely
Quebec
forgettable,
exists.
not interesting. It's just about forest fires. I mean, we heard enough about forest fires last summer. We'll hear more about forest fires this summer and every
Only you
summer
can
for the rest of
prevent
our
them.
lives. So,
Only you can prevent forest
no,
fires.
actually, only
Nothing
no.
can, really.
That's too depressing to say. Yeah, that's the Saguenay Fire one. It's all right, but let's get into the actual stuff that I got from the survey. The first and most common one that anyone remembers is, next slide, please,
Oh, I knew this one
Halifax
was coming.
explosion. Everyone remembers the Halifax explosion, and it's the main propaganda is not from the Canadian government, but from railway companies, because they think their dispatchers are really cool. Oh, right, I gotta link the YouTube video again. This is, again, another one of the original set. You'll remember that the original set had most of the Heritage Minutes. So, most of the Heritage Minutes are going to be from the original set. Fuck, god damn it. So, Halifax explosion. It's 1917. World War I is happening. We've loaded up the SS Mont Blanc with as much munitions as we can carry to Belgium. We're going to send her out of Bedford Basin across the Atlantic in a little convoy thing. Because you're protecting against submarines or U-boats, Untersee boats as the Germans call them. Except the big oopsie, you run into the SS Emo, and all of the explosives end up causing one of the largest unplanned non-nuclear man-made explosions ever at 2.9 kilotons or 10 terajoules. I believe it's about maybe a fifth of a Hiroshima nuclear bomb. A massive explosion. Even that statistic's more of a demonstration of how large, like, the smallest nuclear bombs are. I should have compared this actually to the Davy Crockett. Are you guys familiar with the Davy Crockett?
A little bit.
Isn't that a brand of cake?
Remember, it's a song.
It's the man portable, like, recoilless rifle. It's like imagine, you know, the Fat Man from Fallout. It's like it's not shoulder launch. They have a tripod for it, but it would just launch a tiny munition, but the munition wouldn't go far enough to keep the launcher outside of the zone where the fallout would be from, so it was scrapped instantly.
I think I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that thing.
That sounds
That thing
vaguely
was
familiar.
funny, but so that's the Halifax explosion, and what happens in the Heritage Minute is Vince Coleman, a railway dispatcher for and it's never explained. It's just I know this because I'm a nerd. The Intercolonial Railway at the time, it wasn't Canadian National yet, because that wouldn't exist for another 2 years. He is told by some guy who I don't know how he got ashore and or got over and knows that the thing's loaded down with explosives and is about to kill everyone, including all the school children that are running around in the background before the explosion. Tells Vince and anonymous old guy with him at the station to get out of there, but Vince runs back in and telegraphs to stop a passenger train, which he successfully does. He gets a response, and yeah, that's right. According to what I know, the train was late anyway, but we're not going to think about how his sacrifice may have been worthless. Good for Vince Coleman. He did the right thing. Anyway, yeah, Halifax got absolutely bulldozed by this thing. Large, entire sections of the city were just leveled. 1,000 people died, 7,000 more were injured, and the next day a historic blizzard hit, which fucked over shit more.
Man, Halifax is a lucky town.
I think that I'm 3 for 3 on doing this on my episodes, but well, there's your problem. Did an episode on this.
What?
Listen,
sorry? You cut out on my end. What did you say?
I like the. Well, there's your problem. Did an episode on this.
Oh, wait,
oh,
wow,
I should
did
listen.
they?
I didn't know that. Huh. Sorry, you cut out on my end. I was listening.
You're cutting out a little bit
fine.
for me, but just kind of here and there.
This is why I was upset that you weren't going through the back catalog the other day, Connor.
I haven't. No, I will.
Wait,
at some point.
You fucking. This thing. Just excuse me for a second. I'm watching my little green dot on Discord. Oh, maybe. Hold on. I know how I can
your voice is still coming through.
I'm
it's
still
very much
recording
just
fine.
internet connection.
It could be.
Oh, actually, that might do it. I purchased Baldur's Gate 3. I'll stop that.
You
download.
did? Oh my god, no fucking wonder, you idiot.
Yeah.
Is
it?
That'll do it.
Did you pay full price for it?
Oh,
Just
and I
curious.
have. Yeah, of course it's not on sale yet. There we go. It turned off automatically determine input sensitivity. That'll help a bit. But you may get more background noise over Discord. That's fine.
Yay.
Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. And I don't know. I just added this in because it's a bit of background knowledge. The reason the city of Boston gets a Christmas tree every year from Nova Scotia is because of all the relief they donated to Halifax after this catastrophe. However, you may remember when I said it was the largest unplanned non-nuclear man-made explosion, or one of. It's close to. There's a couple caveats in there before I say the word explosion. First of all, man-made. Supernovas and volcanoes are definitely bigger. Non-nuclear, nuclear bombs are bigger. Unplanned is the note that we're going to get to on the next slide, please. This is not a Heritage Minute. This is something I found out about while looking for about the Halifax explosion. Have you guys ever heard of Ripple Rock?
No.
Maybe,
No.
but I couldn't tell you what it is.
I had no fucking clue about Ripple Rock before, 3 days ago.
She ripple on my rock till I explode.
This is one of the largest planned non-nuclear, man-made explosions for non-militarized purposes. I should note that there are larger planned explosions. Let me think here. Right. There's never been a nuclear detonation inside Canadian territory. However, at CF Canadian Forces Base Suffield down in southern Alberta, really close to Dinosaur Provincial Park.
Huh?
Outstanding.
He's heard of this place.
I think you might be familiar.
It's right by Medicine Hat as well, the other less notable landmark. They did these things called nuclear calibration tests, where in order to figure out what kind of pressures and how to measure explosions of nuclear bombs, they had to just detonate really big conventional bombs. So what they did is they got a whole bunch of TNT stuff together and just measured it. And that was that's the control for every single nuclear detonation. It's just that happens that CFB, Suffield, happened to do a couple of those detonations. But this is fucking this shit's dude's rock. So over on the west coast of Canada, there's this cool thing called the Inside Passage, right? There's a whole bunch of islands over on the west coast and down on the Alaska Panhandle that protect you when you are shipping things up and down the west coast to, say, isolated communities like Prince Rupert or Bella. I think Bella Bella's one along the west coast as well. Area like
I'm
it's
reading
difficult
a book
to get
that
to on
takes
road.
place there. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of isolated places by the mountains on the interior, so you have to go by water. That's what's safer. And the Inside Passage, you got these massive islands blocking the Pacific Ocean from having much like waves or current interference. Makes it a really calm, easy passage along the inside, except for back then, an area in Discovery Passage called the Seymour Narrows, which had an underwater mountain on it called Ripple Rock. Ripple Rock had 2 peaks, which at low tide were, Wikipedia tells me, 2.74 and 6.4 meters below the surface. Very close. By being that close to surface, at any point when the tide was changing, which I should note the tide is changing constantly, there were really big tidal waves and like currents that would flow across these and break boats and shit. It would really not a fun time. You would only be able to travel over and past these rocks at a time called slack tide, or when the tide is at its highest or lowest, and
Like
the water
snack
isn't.
time.
Yeah, that you can only
Yummy.
pass them at snack time when the water isn't moving.
Nice.
Damn,
And
the
I think
moon really
little
does have its
statistic, I think like
consequences.
pop quiz: which celestial body has the most effect on the Earth's tides?
Saturn?
Connor?
It's the sun or the moon. It's the moon.
It is the sun.
I don't think
Sun
that's true.
Has
Actually.
more is a larger body and has more effect. So
I don't
the
know if
constant-
that's
I guess
true.
I'm
Up and-
missing it.
I,
I mean, Saturn definitely has but minimal effect because
Are
I
you?
think gravity just goes forever. It doesn't really
Yeah.
stop.
I'm looking this up. I might be incorrect, but
The sun is the reason that the tides are daily, and they work on 6-hour intervals, because the sun
Clock in,
will
clock
pull,
out.
the sun will pull the water up towards it daily every day. The moon is what causes the adjustment over the period of a month from a spring to a neap tide. I got that maritimer in me. It's like having that dog in you, but you go fishing.
I thought I'm going through some school stuff about space because I thought the moon, I think they're close and like they're both really important, but I thought
I
The-
think
well,
most
the-
celestial bodies are kind of important.
Well, yeah. It's because the moon is the reason that one high tide and another low tide are not going to be the same, but the sun is the reason that they're on a daily cycle, and the sun is the reason that sun has, because it is a larger body, has more of an effect on the Earth's tides.
well, I can't find it anyways, so I'll have to take
My
it.
source
I'll
is
have to
that I
take-
know.
I'll have
Trust
to
me.
take
Fuck
your
up.
source on it, and I'll accept
Can't
the L
human
that maybe
vision.
I don't know as much as I think I do.
Anyway,
You need to be humbled anyways.
Connor, future Connor, correct me in post. Never mind, you won't, because you are lazy.
I'm just gonna cut this all out.
no!
No, don't cut it out.
My
I'm
back.
gonna show you how smart and cool I am.
They'll never know that. I
Anyway.
made a mistake.
They'll never know.
Ripple Rock. So these rocks are like a massive navigational hazard. They sunk many ships, and I think they claimed the lives of maybe more than 100 people in multiple sinkings. Not good. We got to get rid of them. How do we do that? The
Blow the
water
sun.
around them, when moving, is really, really fast and dangerous. We can't really operate above the water. So, and I should note, just another little thing. Are you guys familiar? Project Plowshare was a project just after World War II to find non-militarized uses for nuclear bombs. This thing almost got Project Plowshared. It was considered to detonate a nuke on these things just to get rid of them.
What could have gone wrong?
Oh,
What could have gone wrong? We could have irradiated the Seymour Passage for 20,000 years.
Yeah.
Then nobody was getting through. But it did not get Project Plowshared. Instead, what they did So they went to the nearby Maud Island, and they got a contractor for $3 million at the time to dig a tunnel down under the ground, under the water, and up into the peaks, and then loaded those peaks with what Wikipedia tells me was 1,270 metric tons of explosives. And then they detonated it live on CBC. It was one of the earliest live broadcasts that ever happened for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporations. And this is the resulting explosion.
Interesting.
It's awesome. There's YouTube videos on documenting the entire process they went through to get rid of these things. It's awesome. And now the clearing for the peaks is 13.7 and 15.2 meters. They were really flattened out. And now the inside passage is still very safe and used today by things like BC ferries.
Things like fish.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure the fish were a huge fan of this.
I would be if I was a fish.
Fan. I'm sure this probably.
Those trouts are dancing.
Oh, dude. Most effective salmon fishing in a single moment.
You've heard of one.
Yeah.
You've heard of
one
stone, two birds. Well, this is thousands of fish, one bomb.
I mean, that's what you could do in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. You just throw bombs and get a shit ton of fish.
It'll work.
Oh yeah, dude.
Take more examples from Legend of Zelda.
That's
just moral of the story.
There we go. So that wasn't a Heritage Minute. That should be. Ripple Rock for Heritage Minute status. Thank you, everyone. Next slide, please. Basketball.
Oh, I know what this one is.
So,
I don't know this.
This is one of the Heritage Minutes I remember viscerally, and I don't know why. I remember the Halifax.
That's because it's more
goofy. The exact same thing about the other one. The Superbad
there's
one.
a couple that I remembered. Superman,
they're all buried
Tyrell,
memories. He's
Halifax,
like a Manchurian
Explosion,
candidate
and
for. He's like a Manchurian candidate for Heritage Minutes.
I am a sponge for knowledge. Not a single niche reference will make its way past me.
Oh,
My
right. I gotta actually link
Alright,
the
touche.
video again. Hold on. Copy, paste, send.
Complete opposite. I have to watch it at least 13 times until I actually remember.
So yeah, this is the one titled Basketball. This is the second one that I got.
Starring Michael Jordan.
Starring Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny.
I have never. I don't think I actually know what Michael Jordan looks like. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him. Did not know that.
I like how the guy in here looks like Teddy Roosevelt.
Wait,
he
which
really
one?
does.
Oh,
he
the
kind of does on the Wikipedia page too. But it's just another Heritage Minute from the original set. We're in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1891, and Dr. James
famous
Naismith.
Canadian location.
He does look like Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, famous Canadian location, Springfield, Massachusetts.
I like the Napoleon Dynamite looking guy with the mustache.
Oh shit.
Oh, I thought he had glasses. Never mind.
Yeah, no, it's alright.
Damn.
But yeah, it's one of the more goofy ones, one of the more lighthearted ones. It's not as say serious as our previous Halifax explosion one. But yeah, as the story goes, James Naismith, it's too cold for these poor people from Massachusetts to endure the outside. So being inside, he kind of just comes up with basketball. Hangs up some peach baskets with the janitor, they just get the whole story. Janitor is like, I don't want to climb up here and get this basketball. Well, then cut a hole out.
Bad.
But I need these baskets for the peaches. So he gets a small hole instead and pokes a pole through it.
A broom. Interesting.
There's also him just telling a guy to dribble it as he throws it between his two hands. Which he makes that shot, honestly. That's a pretty good.
But he makes the rules of basketball.
Yeah. How dare he? At the game they just invented.
They should know. They just made it.
Things
don't
figure it
evolve.
out.
That's how it was born.
Yeah, and this is, there are a couple Heritage Minutes that are more like this, where it's a little more fun and lighthearted than, I don't know, say one that's just about the Flanders Fields poem, which I'll do later.
Oh, no.
What a fun
Or
no.
Halifax Explosion.
I might remember that one, actually.
I like the duality of some of these. It's like, yep, the explosion that killed
Basketball.
thousands of people versus a bunch of funny little goofballs playing basketball.
The
Just
first
being the
idiots to
homies.
play basketball, yeah.
Committing nuclear bomb.
Yeah, there you go. So
I
that's
did not
about
get
it.
the moral of the story.
Of the Halifax explosion? Don't
The
send a
Halifax. The
boat.
moral of the Halifax explosion.
Don't crash
is
a
that,
boat full
Vince
of
Coleman is
explosions
cool.
into something.
Yeah, don't crash a fucking boat, idiot.
Next time
Are
I'm
you
on a
kidding?
boat, I'll make
Just
sure I
don't
do
crash
exactly.
it. But yeah, so when the person said the basketball one in my survey of gay internet strangers, I didn't immediately think of this. I instead thought of, next slide please,
Hell yeah.
the Edmonton Grads one.
Oh!
There is a Heritage Minute for the Edmonton Grads. It's from 2017. It is a much newer one. And so on the left is, I believe, the original team. Yeah, I think so. This from 1915. So this team started out in Edmonton at McDougall High School, which I think still exists.
I think so.
Yep. I think it's not called McDougall High School anymore.
But that was a good year for everything.
It was not, Connor. You want to know why it wasn't? The Germans first deployed fucking mustard gas.
I'm sorry.
Chemical warfare was
what
invented.
did-
Great year.
What did Connor say? I missed that.
I bet
It was a great year for everything,
19
and then I had to
yeah.
immediately
Oh,
prove him wrong because I'm a
okay.
I was
contrarian.
kidding. I didn't know that was the year
Are
of
you
mustard
sure?
gas, but I knew.
After knowing that, then it
the
definitely
joke
was
was
the
that
best
I
year.
World
know.
War One was
I'm
going
the
on.
genius. Yeah,
Oh
World
my
War
God.
One was going on, dude. I know it, dude. I'm a knower, all right.
This quality is insane.
You've heard of growers and showers. He is a knower.
So on the left is the original team. On the right, I have their names here. From left to right, we have Edith Stone Sutton, Margaret McBurnsey Vacherise, and Helen Northrop Alexander. They all played on the Edmonton Grads team, not necessarily part of the original team. Let's see. Each of them played during different periods. I think they all played together at some point, but they were some of the members, and I think this article was written. Oh, right. This is a Sportsnet. This is from a Sportsnet article talking about how they get a Heritage Minute, which is great. Yay! The highest Canadian honor, a Heritage Minute. Also in 2017, the same year that they got their Heritage Minute, they were inducted into the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame. You know, a mere 102 years after the team was created.
Yeah. Just took a little
So-
while. It's okay. It's a little short.
Yeah. So the team started. The whole team itself graduated McDougall High School in 1950, but they just were like, damn, I love playing this basketball game that was invented 25 years ago in 1891 in Springfield, Massachusetts. So they all stayed together. They became like a provincial team playing out of Edmonton, the Edmonton Grads, which I guess I now understand why they're called the Edmonton Grads. That just clicked because they stayed together after they graduated.
Oh. Huh.
And in that first year, in 1915, they immediately became the provincial champions. And then they held on to that title for, I think, 2 years. They were beaten and taken back, went back and forth for a while. They made it to the 1924 Paris Olympics, except they didn't quite actually make it because A, basketball wasn't an official sport, and B, women weren't allowed at the Olympics yet. Fun.
Hell
yes.
Thrilling.
So
Kidding.
they made it to the Paris Olympics. At the Olympics, they went undefeated. Then they came back home and went back to the Summer Olympics in 1928, which I think were also in Europe. I'm not sure where. There was, I think, a Belgian Olympics somewhere in there, and I don't know. Someone else will know. Some other Olympics nerd will know where the 28 and the 32 Olympics were. But they also swept the 28 Olympics, which are just not real Olympics, but exhibition games played alongside the Olympics. And they swept the 32 ones. And they swept the ones in 36. Anyone know what's special about the 1936 Olympics?
Is that the one in Germany, right when the Nazis took over?
That's the Nazi Olympics, yes.
I
What-
was
wanna
going to say
know-
it's 33 years from 1969.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that works too.
Nice.
Good math.
Thank you.
I think that was the fastest I've ever seen you do math.
That's a bit of a stretch here. I've done math probably faster than that.
Yeah.
It's just
Fun
been a while.
fact about the Nazi Olympics. They invented the concept of the Olympic opening ceremony,
Did they actually?
which is why. Yes.
Is that where fire is involved?
Sorry?
The torch?
No, like the torch was still a thing. The torch has been a thing. But the
Okay.
concept of the Olympic opening ceremony being like a big fancy thing showing off how cool your country is. Yeah, don't
Nothing
think
else
about it
screams
when
propaganda more than talking
Yeah.
about how great your country is in front of
Also,
everybody else.
I didn't realize that Paris is going to be holding Olympics 100 years after they held the Olympics. We're going to Paris this summer for the Olympics.
I'm going to
by the
Paris.
way.
I
Hell
don't
yeah,
want to go
dude.
to Paris. It's trashy.
Those guys suck. And yeah, so they swept the Olympics and like the Olympic expeditions in that place. I don't know, the Nazi scum hole, which good for them.
I like how the coach in the image there looks like you AI generated the words mad scientist.
Honestly, yeah, that's fair. He does kind of look
He
that.
did
His name
create
is
them.
Dr. James Naismith.
Who's
I
the
found
guy?
his name really easily on the Wikipedia, but I did not find the names of any of the players easily on the Wikipedia. The only three names I have are of the ladies on the right. It's very unfortunate because this team has recorded on Wikipedia at least, and this is slightly disputed because of historical record keeping, a total career 502 wins to 20 losses.
Holy shit.
It's insane.
That's a
It's
lot
like
of wins.
it's like a 95% win rate.
I could beat
I
'em.
think around there. I could beat them by myself.
You are tall.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool like
Yeah,
that.
I could. I
Um.
think the other people were just bad, actually.
That's a fantastic
Thank
voice
you.
of like.
I don't
shout out to
like
those
Chad
guys.
Connor. I'm not into
Yeah,
it.
shout out to those guys on TikTok or those people who are like, yeah, I could probably get a point past Serena Williams. No, you can't. You cannot.
I could, though.
The professor kind
Oh,
of
wait,
reminds me
no.
of like Professor Utonium.
moron. Oh, well.
Utonium, I think it was from Powerpuff Girls.
Hold on, I got a just a correction. James Naismith is the guy we just talked about inventing basketball in Massachusetts. He's not the coach of this team. I never wrote the coach's name down because I got mad that I only found his name on the Wikipedia page.
Understandable.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I like how you still said the name anyways.
Yeah, because I forgot to read my notes correctly. But yeah, and that's the grads. Amazing team. They have a exhibit. There's a small little exhibit at the Royal Alberta Museum. You should go to the Royal Alberta Museum. It's cool. It's got a great exhibit on Cambodia and Angkor Wat right now.
That one's temporary,
Oh,
but it's real good.
Right. I said right now.
Yeah, but like I'd like to be clear that it's temporary in case somebody's listening to it.
Yeah.
Like when it's
speaking of temporary, can we go to the Tell Us World of Science? It's been a
Yes.
long time.
I would
Yeah, we
love
should.
to go.
Thank you.
Just one
Thank you.
last note on this slide. The Heritage Minute, which opens with images of Fort Edmonton Park and the wonderful preservation efforts of the Radial Railway Society for the electric streetcars that were puttering around. That's just images from Fort Edmonton Park. I don't know if you guys recognize that.
I did not, but that is cool.
It's been a hot second.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a
That's
long time.
Anyway, who's this handsome devil? All right, we're back to the original series. 1991, the Dr. Penfield. I don't think... Hold on. Let me pull up my spreadsheet because I don't remember what this episode's... Actually, no, I don't need to pull up the spreadsheet. I have the YouTube link right here, which will tell me when I paste it for you guys what it is called. It is just called Wilder Penfield. Okay, I did write that down right. Dr. Wilder Penfield. This was the third one to come up.
Oh, wow.
Mainly because of
Three's a big
the
number.
mainly because of the line late in the episode where the lady on the operating table says, "Dr. Penfield, I smell toast."
I love that it's shot like a sitcom.
That's about to change. I don't mean to.
Oh God.
It is shot like a
she's having a
sitcom
stroke
until.
right there.
Yep. So, yes,
That is make a stroke.
the
Oh, wow.
episode opens on a very sitcom-y looking thing in Montreal in 1934. A woman has a stroke, and she's brought into a medical theater with Dr. Wilder Penfield, who uses something known as a Penfield dissector to stimulate different areas of her brain in order to identify which section might be causing the epilepsy, so that he can later remove it in a surgery that might cause less side effects you'll actually get the right area out as opposed to kind of, I don't know, guessing.
That's a graphic heritage minute to have on
That-
TV.
That is quite fair to have just a brain on TV and daytime TV.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
like,
she's It's fake. Don't worry about it.
If I saw it on TV as a child, I don't think I'd ever...
Yeah, that would have been a core memory.
I would
In
die.
a bad
I think
way.
I would just die. Yeah.
Oh,
like-
I remember this one.
I'd have a
not
stroke.
No,
I'm not a big
probably
fan of
false
brain
memory.
stuff.
No wonder you know where you are.
Well, sorry, we're just talking about like Canada's coolest neurosurgeon here, so you're gonna have to deal with the
There
brain
are no
stuff.
cool neurosurgeons.
Incorrect. This guy's cool.
It's him and Doctor
Ascent-
Strange, and that's it.
is- Yeah. Well, he's essentially just a hero. This is known as in the Heritage Minute. It's essentially just a simplified demonstration of what they call the Montreal procedure, where by using a device like that little device that they use, they stimulate different areas of the brain, hope to cause and look for reactions from the patient who is under a local anesthesia. Imagine being awake, having your brain touched.
That sounds horrible. Like,
I'd rather not
Hey.
imagine that, actually.
Would you rather that, or would you rather more epileptic attacks, man?
I'd
We're
rather
gonna
more
fix this shit.
epileptic attacks, I think.
On top of using this device to find, I don't know, affected areas of a patient's brain during surgery, he also kind of mapped out the brain. And from what I understand, his maps are essentially used almost unchanged to this day. He is he's actually kind of a pioneer of neuroscience and a very important figure.
I've done
yeah,
brain
that's,
dissections before. I don't believe he actually did it. I think
Just do exploratory surgery every time. Don't
he
worry
just
about what you
pointed at
hit.
it.
Just
the
body will
it all
heal.
Up, actually.
yeah, you could just take shit out. It's like a Lego set. You can place any piece.
Just put that thing right back.
Yeah.
They
Good
call
idea.
me the ship of Theseus, I
Instructions
say,
here.
fresh out of my lobotomy.
No, I've seen brains before. He didn't map anything. It all looks like goo.
It's not. All right. Anyway,
What did you use to open the brain, Connor?
Scalpel.
The head?
a
I was
Lego
gonna say
brick
chainsaw
separator.
or something. Yeah.
Fire
That's
axe.
so goofy.
I only got that one down because I have a brick separator on my desk right now.
I have like
Oh.
6 on my desk.
Mine's in my closet.
That's a lot of sets
I
you've done
have,
recently. There,
like-
That is a lot.
I have a bin of like 500 of them downstairs.
I was gonna
so
say you must have more than 6.
one with every set.
I just keep a few on my desk in case I need them.
All right.
You know, Lego purposes.
Next slide,
Lego or no Lego
please.
purposes.
Here it is, the plane. This is the Avro Arrow. It is a 1990 episode. Let me quickly get the link.
Let me quickly get the link.
Links will be below, audio listeners. Maybe.
I love Jizz. What's that music called?
It's called Jizz, yeah.
It was Jizz, but they've renamed it to Jats because Disney
They're
are
cowards. Yeah.
No, I'll just start making the Gen Zers get into saying they've jatsed all over the wall or something.
What are you doing, Step-Bith?
No, don't.
that should
That's
be what
also
goes
in the
on
book
the
I'm currently
Instagram
reading
short.
right now.
That right there. That should just be the description, actually.
What are you doing, Step-Bith?
Step-Bith.
They were canonically called Jizz Whalers.
I wonder.
Thanks,
I
George.
wonder
It's
when the
Toronto.
term
It's
jizz
1953.
was
We're
coined.
right at the start of the Cold War, and what do you know? Everyone's trying to not have nuclear bombs thrown at each other. It's kind of an important deal. We don't want... And so the good Lord hasn't granted anyone the vision of the intercontinental ballistic missile. So we're still working with planes here. We're still working with essentially bigger Enola Gays throwing nuclear bombs at each other. If you got a long-range bomber, it's going to be very high up. It's going to be going very fast. And you're only going to see it once it's pretty much on top of you, because our radar is still not that good. So once you see it, you need to get up to it as fast as you possibly can to intercept it. And thus, the concept in the Air Force came to be of the interceptor. Many planes have been defined as an interceptor, and this was Canada's throw into the lot to build a interceptor for NATO forces to beat back the Soviet menace. So this is the Avro Aero. Avro was a corporation in Canada. They wanted to make a plane. They got a military contract and everything. They started off designing in 1953 and would eventually produce this plane. This was the first one. You can tell because it says a 1 somewhere in the thing. You can see that, RL201. And this is actually a picture from the day it was rolled out and showcased for the first time. Very large crowd. I think like 1,300 people came out to see this thing for the first time. Or it might actually be 13,000. I forget what it said on Wikipedia. But unfortunately, this day, where the photo was taken was October 4th, 1957. And the news of this plane was immediately overshadowed by the launch of Sputnik 1 the same day. So it kind of got swept under the rug. And that's kind of the legacy. Yeah, oops. We forgot to time out our game launches
today on biggest failures in release dates.
Yeah, rather than going to the Oppenheimer of the Avro Aero, everyone went to the Barbie of Sputnik 1. And that kind of demonstrates the history of this plane. It's just really bad luck and bad timing the whole way down. This plane would fly the next year. It would achieve a speed of Mach 1.98, which was extremely fast for the time. It was a very, very good interceptor plane for exactly what they wanted it to do, which was get in the way of these things. Of these basically fleets of bombers coming across the Arctic, because that would be the shortest way, is to go over the North Pole rather than east to west, because globes and shit. And yeah.
You can't do that, though.
There it is.
Like,
unfortunately,
there's an ice wall in the way.
Oh. No, the ice wall's in Antarctica, idiot.
No, it's around the whole planet. Antarctica is just really wide.
How are you fucking up the flat Earth stuff? The ice wall's around Antarctica, but the North Pole's still just the North Pole. I know how they think. I am one. I'm not one. But
the
yeah,
South and North Pole are the same continent after all.
Yeah.
Okay, so in theory, this plane could go above Mach 2, which was kind of what these guys were aiming for, but this whole project was canned. It was completely canceled. All 6 of the planes were destroyed, all the plans, because, it was total classified stuff, in favor of interceptor missiles called Bomarks, and being a part of this cool new thing, this cool new tracker of Santa Claus, NORAD. That's really its only purpose these days.
That's its most notable contribution.
I can think of nothing else that NORAD has done.
It hasn't done anything.
It literally hasn't. There hasn't been a nuclear war. What if they prevented? But yeah, so this episode was made in 1990. At the time, it was just like, yeah, cool. Shit-canned Canadian aviation industry. Damn, everyone at Avro lost their jobs. That's so sad. Oh shit! You guys watched the so they thought everything about it was gone. Any plane you see is a replica. The one at the Canadian I think there's a Canadian Forces Base Trenton has a museum in it with maybe one of these, and I think there's also the military museum might have one in Ottawa, but they're just replicas. They're not real. Actually,
fucking scam.
There's a part of an arrow. I think it might be a part. It may be a replica of a part, but there is a part at the Aviation Museum in Edmonton as well. I can't remember what exactly, though. I should have looked it up. Now, it was understood at the time that this Heritage Minute was released that everything was destroyed. However, you guys watched the thing I posted, right? The Avro Aero one?
Mm-hmm.
So you might remember, halfway through it, 30 seconds in, you see the little model being launched off over a lake?
Yeah.
Well, 8 of those models were launched off, sent at supersonic speed to kind of record how the Aero would behave at supersonic speeds. All of them were just launched off into Lake Ontario. And for the longest time, people were sure it's these are the only things left of the Aero. Right? And recently, through a joint effort from the Canadian military and some historical societies, they did find one. There is one sitting in Ottawa somewhere, or actually it might be in Trenton. I think it's in Trenton, Ontario.
The whole plane.
So Well, no, not the whole plane, just those little test models that they launched on rockets into Lake Ontario.
Oh.
They found one at the bottom of the lake, recovered
still
it,
pretty
restored
cool,
it, and it's sitting inside a museum right now, which is very cool.
That is extremely cool.
That's
Yes.
kind of neat.
They also, a guy came forward and he's like, "Yeah, I just didn't destroy the blueprints like I was asked. Here you go," and he handed them in.
Big fan of that.
So we got the full blueprints too.
Big fan.
That's, yeah.
But yeah, this thing is a very big. The Arrow's a very big, like, my Canada, my aviation industry, hauntology kind of shit. What could have been, what wasn't. Right?
Was that just like a Milady thing that you just did?
Canada?
Canada? You like
No,
Milady?
it's like my
Canada?
guns or my liberty. It's like my Canada.
I've-
It's like, you know, the kind of guy.
No, I don't know what that is at all.
The kind of guy whose profile picture on Twitter is going to be the old Canadian flag, the fucking ensign. You guys remember the?
Were
you
you
guys
tweeting
remember
about
the?
that the other day?
That was 6 episodes ago.
No, I
don't remember which one that one
retweeted
was.
someone who was getting tweeted about that the other day.
I saw it in the morning, and I was just like, I can't. I'm not.
You
doing
always
it.
wake up to my
probably
tweets from the night before. You really like. You
Well,
better not have my notifications on, man.
I do.
You don't see my
That's bad.
tweets often, do you?
I have your notifications on. There's so much. I don't know
You
why.
have my
For
notifications
both
on,
of
Connor?
you too. Yeah, I don't know
Oh
why.
Oh,
my
for why?
God.
Okay, I do a lot on Twitter. No,
Turn
that's a
mine
bad
off.
idea.
You retweet a lot of art that I don't.
Turn
I
mine
like-
off.
and that's fine.
Wait,
but
wait, what did you say?
a lot of art that I don't really care about. Like that's
Oh,
fine.
that's
It's your
that's
Twitter.
nice of you.
Like,
A lot of it's
That's rude.
sorry to say.
there's nothing wrong
yeah.
with that. I'd like to be very clear, and a lot of it's very good art, but it's a lot of like Ace Attorney stuff.
You don't
which I
have to
no
turn my
connection to.
notifications on. You could turn it off.
Yeah, but
There's
like
nothing.
I feel like I should have it on. Do you have notifications
That's
for
very
Leon?
kind of you. I see you once. That's true. There's lots of pictures of Leon.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'd like to
Leon.
be clear. Like
Leon.
it's- I'm not like it's like I fucking hate your Twitter. It's
Ugh,
just like,
Leon.
it's
What,
art
Resident
of
Evil
things-
again?
Just like art of things I don't know.
What a
So,
cuck. Oh, I saw I see this tweet now. Thank you, Ethan.
There you go.
Thank you. That's fine. I mean, once in a while I see you retweet or like something, and I'm just like, "Aw, Connor's on Twitter this week." One day, 1 hour for
don't-
this week.
I
But
don't
no,
log
he's
on.
waking up first thing in the morning, not a
didn't-
cup of Joe.
Do you
I
check
fucking,
Twitter?
I need Ethan's Twitter.
If you want,
I need these hot takes.
we have two very very different Twitters.
Oh yes.
Connor gets a flavor of both sides of Twitter.
Yep.
Best part
Follow
of
us on Twitter, by the
waking
way.
up.
Is incest in
It's hot.
your cup?
Oh yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
love
that
I
commercial.
love the Folgers incest commercial.
Isn't that a Super Bowl ad?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
There
the
is a
actual
parody that
incest
Saturday Night
part-
Live did.
Yeah,
Of
it's the actual incest part that everybody makes fun of is not actually in the commercial.
Yeah, that one's a Saturday Night Live sketch where he like actually proposes to her and she's like, holy fuck, and then he's like, ever since I've known you or whatever, because we grew up together, I've always loved you, and then the parents like beat the shit out of the son, and then
I'm your
they get
son,
up,
and I'm in love with your daughter.
and I'm in love with your daughter.
It's really
good.
funny.
Anyway,
It's so funny. I have the full video. I have both videos saved on
So-
my likes list on YouTube. I could definitely 1000%. Can I? Never mind.
Just search for
dragging
this
us back
incest
on
commercial.
topic. Next slide, please. Anyway, hey, look, it's famous historical figure Laura Secord. Or Secord.
Eh.
Secord. Hey, Connor, remember
You
how I
got
told
it.
you there was going to be an image that might fuck you up this time?
Oh yeah, you did tell me that the other day. Is this it?
That is a photograph of Laura Secord.
That's not true.
Isn't that
that's
fucking awesome?
Nope, that's a
That is
painting.
a 1865 silver salts photograph.
No, she died in like
using the aluminum process.
in the age of exploration. They didn't have cameras back then.
She was alive in the fucking 19th century, man. They
No,
had
that's not
cameras
true.
for
I
her
refuse.
entire life.
No, that's not true.
Who's the camera
My-
expert here?
My brain is rejecting
I
this
am.
information.
Who has two 1816 was when cameras
I'm
were first
the
invented.
camera boy.
Yeah.
I'm the one who
Cameras! I'm the one who takes pictures. Yeah,
My
cameras
brain
were
is
invented
rejecting
in
this
the
information.
in 1839. Louis Daguerre created a daguerreotype, which was much closer to the photographic camera concept we know today.
Hell yeah.
Get your facts straight, Connor.
No.
do actual research one day. You know, maybe you'd
If you want a really good episode on photography, you should give money to the WTYP Patreon and listen to the photography episode. That shit's great.
We don't need to rep the like.
It's really fucking good.
They're not paying us.
They should be.
Good show. I love this show.
Yeah, they're not paying us. I'm paying them.
I know.
And love.
Anyway, Laura Secord has a Heritage Minute. You've heard of this woman because of the wonders of like Canadian myth-making. So, it is June of 1813. The Napoleonic Wars have spread to continental America, or the continental... The New World, and the United States decided, fuck the British. We hate the British. We've always been allied with the French because 40 years ago we gained our independence with the help of the French. So their concept of allyship is still to that of the French. Therefore, they want to help interrupt the British control and invade British territories, like Canada. Which Canada is at this time? It is a British territory. So it's the Dominion of Canada. I don't like. Sometime they use the term Canada. It's hard to say. We'll get to some fucked shit about using the proper historical name for things in about like 3 slides here, I think.
Dominion was a Jurassic World movie.
Yes, dear. So yeah, Laura. We see her in the show doing exactly the thing that we hear about her doing. She does a little bit of
She does some cardio.
Epic espionage and some cardio. Fuck, does she do some cardio?
She does a lot of cardio.
So, so basically there was a battle. Where she starts, we'll get into her actual... I have a slide for her journey coming up here. But her husband was injured in the battle against the Americans as they invaded across the Niagara River, which is essentially where she was living. She was living right on the Niagara River, which is the border. The Americans now had a foothold in Canada, and because it's 1812 and an expeditionary assault force, no one has ever heard of the term operational security. So while Laura is in one room, or taking care of her husband, as is shown in the video, the American commanders are in the other room discussing how they are going to commence their assault in 2 days. And so... she's like, well, shit, I gotta tell the good guys, the British boys. So she dips, and Historic Canada's website says she goes on a 30K run to get to, I think, some other place. We'll get into the details of the journey soon. And gets in there, and that's what the painting on the right is of. It's dramatization. By what the sign, the signature in the bottom tells me is like, I don't know, Lorne K. Smith.
That's a good painting. I like it.
It is a good painting. Very dramatic.
It is very dramatic. I'm into the composition.
My notes say here, Laura dipped to go tell on them like a big tattletale.
Fucking narc.
Like a little bitch.
Fucking, yeah, narc. Anyway, next slide, Connor. Here is the actual journey. So, yes, that's the name of the town. She started in Queenston, and she made her way to a place called Beaver Hills near Thornhold, Ontario. Now, for some reason, Historica Canada says this journey is 30 kilometers. As the crow flies, this journey is almost 15 kilometers. This is another... Remember how Historica Canada said the bones of your dinosaur, the last Heritage Minutes, were 6,000 year old?
Yes.
I'm starting to find multiple problems with the Historica Canada website. So let's be honest, in 1812 there weren't this many highways, and this is like a direct route. It is unlikely that Laura actually ran this exact route, but it is. Oh, and also,
I would have run that route actually.
This river right next to Thornhold that flows down through Thornhold, you see in the very, very bottom left, there's the Allenberg Bridge that crosses it. That's not a river. That is the Welland Canal. That is an artificial river, so it wouldn't actually be that wide. It might have been easier for her to cross. That wasn't invented yet. But either way, this is still just probably bogs and backwoods and danger and everything. And it's it's still like 15 kilometers is a substantial distance to travel in a single day. Like, it's known that she made this journey within at least a day or two.
Should have just taken the bus.
The Greyhound.
Yeah, get a Greyhound, man. Mm-hmm. Should have gone to at least probably stop by Niagara Falls. I mean, it's a good tourist point on the side.
They have the Hershey Museum. They have a Rainforest Cafe. They got
Rainforest
a Hard Rock
Cafe.
Cafe.
I watched those videos.
An aquarium, according to this picture.
Is it an aquarium?
No, that one's in Buffalo. Don't go to Buffalo.
I've never been to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls is cool.
I'd go to Niagara Falls.
You know,
I
if
mean,
you stayed in
just a
band in middle
tourist
school,
trap.
you would have been able to go.
But
many things you
I
missed.
hated band.
Well, you
But
could have gone to
Niagara
the
Falls.
You could have gone to Niagara Falls. There's so many things you could have done, and you were just like, no, fuck band. Your brother did. Look where he is. Not. You went to.
We're gonna.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me the whole itinerary. Slip me the whole itinerary you did on that band trip, and then I'm just gonna take Connor by himself without you.
Take him on his
so
own
that
band
you can,
trip.
Yeah,
Oh,
on his own
what?
band trip. No, you can't come. You already went.
That's
We
true.
gotta even this out.
I've been more than once.
I'm rooting for the underdog here, right?
I appreciate it, Ethan.
Okay.
I know when nobody's got my back, you do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm not here for you. I'm sorry. I'm best friend number 2 for a reason. I don't give
That's
that
not
much.
true.
It's
Don't
not
worry.
true. We both don't give that much shits.
He's my best. He's guy best friend. Your gay best friend. Remember this.
You're also my gay best friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, next slide, please.
In case our best friendship has not been truly
Well
confirmed.
established.
Well established, yeah.
We're just gonna rank
sorry.
each other's friendships on this show. Which one of you do I like more?
Who do you put first in S tier?
Who have you known the longest?
I mean, I've known you.
Oh,
longer,
really
but
fucking
That's true.
get in there, why don't you, Ray?
You've probably spent more time
Put
with
the
Connor.
shoe
Though. You
in.
guys went to high school together. Me and Connor didn't become friends till after, just before high school.
Governor Frontenac was a one made in 1992. This was kind of also a little bit goofy. It's 1690. We're in Quebec City. And this is another one where it's obviously obvious that some of this is initially done in French but then dubbed in English.
I like
Yeah,
how they're all
that's
dressed
right.
like pirates.
I was gonna say it's like Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's right, because it's 1690. It's old enough for that kind of fashion.
Damn.
Bring this back.
Yeah, bring it back. Bring it back, folks. Man,
Do
what's
not do
preventing you from
remake,
dressing like
just-
this?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the movie. It's not the actual. Yeah. You know what? Let's all dress like this. I'm fine with that.
I'm
Those
down.
big heads.
And from what I can tell, just some random Quebec guy gets in a sword fight before Frontenac comes out at like the very end.
Oh my god. What the hell is that?
He's the guy who says, "I will answer with the mouth of my cannons," which is a baller line. Which actually,
Literally.
let me go to the
Cannon baller line.
Wikipedia and get the full real line that is quoted here. I'm not going to read the French version because I can't read French. I would try and
Coward.
probably get pretty close, but then it would just be embarrassing. So the full quote is, "No, I will have no reply to make to your general, other than from the mouths of my cannons and muskets." This was in 1690. Quebec is under siege because of the 9 Years' War.
How long did that last?
Probably 10 years, to be honest. They're never accurate with this shit.
I was gonna say I don't think it was 9 years actually.
Was this
Yeah,
the 7 Years' War?
This is not the 7 Years' War. I have a note about that. So this is not the 7 Years' War, Battle of Plains of Abraham, Wolf and Montcalm kind of thing. This is the 9 Years' War, which is about at least a couple years earlier. But yeah, so he successfully defends Quebec in this instance from what the fucking narration, and this is what I'm getting angry about, calls Americans, they're just British colonists. It's 1690. The American Revolution is not for another 80 fucking years.
6'9", you say?
That's right. Like they're just
On the pulse
fucking
of that
British.
today.
They're just British citizens. Like that's all they are. Fuck, 1690. Goddamn, like the fucking Mayflower landed like, I don't know, a couple years earlier than this. It's infuriating that he calls them Americans. It just shows the fucking propaganda all the way down.
Their accents are so funny.
Well, that's because they're British and French people. What do you mean?
No, but like it's like the worst accents I've ever heard.
Oh, of course it is. But what is Frontenac actually known for? Well, he was just a very popular Quebec or New France governor. I think he was governor, right? Yes. You may have heard, hey, remember from, what was it, grade 10 social, the term coureur de bois?
No.
Nope.
No? That literally rings no bells?
I've
I
not
tune-
done social studies since
I
like...
tune out French.
I shouldn't be unfair about this. That only rang about one neuron in my head activate. It's just he really invested into the fur trade of Quebec. The coureurs de bois were essentially freelance French fur trappers. You let people engage in some entrepreneurship. Hey, go kill a beaver. I'll buy it from you.
Give me that.
He really cemented Canada's place as an extractive industry hellhole as it is known today. But yeah, good for this guy.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are they all wearing wigs in this picture, or this like most of them?
These are guaranteed all wigs.
Damn it! I was hoping that they would
No,
actually grow out
the
their
amount.
hair.
No. These fuckers ate like lead as a lunchtime snack. There's no way they had any hair left.
That's
These are
true.
all wigs. These are
Also
almost all
British.
wigs.
All right, fair enough. I was telling Ethan earlier, but my ears,
Recording.
my earlobes are sore. Last night I have stretched ears, right? And last time I think I changed the plugs was probably like just before school started in fall, so like maybe 5 or 6 months ago. And that was like the last set that I had, but like normally what you do with stretchers is you have like this like cone shaped one that you just put into your ear, so it's like a gradual increase, so you don't like rip your earlobes, because you can rip your earlobes. I've done it twice, I think, to the same earlobe. But I was like, if it's a third time, it's not meant to be. I'm not doing it again. But at the third time, it has never happened, so we're good. But I had like a little plastic kind of tube-like plug that it's a 12 millimeter, and the one that I had before was a 10 millimeter. So I was like, I can try and fit it into my ears and see if they'll do anything. But since it was like soft plastic, I thought it wasn't going to hurt at all. And so I put them in last night, and I was like, oh, it feels fine. And in the middle of the night, I woke up, and I was like, dear God, it feels like my ears just exploded. It was crazy. And then this morning, it was also very painful. I took some Advil, so it's a lot better now. But walking to school, it was minus 22, I think, when I was walking.
Yep.
And the cold numbed the pain for like 15 minutes, which was lovely. And then I went back inside, and the ear pain continued. Yeah. It was horrible, but now it's fine. Because I took Advil before we started, because I'm wearing the only headphones I could use for the mic that I'm using is like the ear cuff headphones. So I just had to like kind of put the earlobe, like I fold the earlobe up a little bit and then like set it inside the little like material circle that's on the headphone, and then just pray that my ears won't bleed. I don't think I ripped my ears, but I think it's just like it's just gonna gradually become 12 millimeters, because the plastic will just increase in size, or go back to its original size or whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was gonna be that painful so fast, but
this
yeah.
is what
Also,
we endure for you folks. This is the
This is
pain
for
and
you.
suffering for podcast.
yeah, I should add 2 millimeters to a hole in my ears.
All right.
In the name of content.
Again, eh?
In the name of content. In this audio podcast, yeah. Sorry, I'm recording.
I'm
Okay,
also
good.
recording.
Whenever you are ready, next slide, please. Here's a guy. What's his name? Sam Steele. This is Sam Steele. He's a cop. Copy, paste, send. Yeah, so this is the Sam Steele Heritage Minute. Again, the next one that was listed. These are all the ones that, again, came to people's minds first as best they could from Gay Internet Stranger Survey. Sam Steele was a Northwest Mounted Police officer. We open on the Heritage Minute in 1898 during the Klondike Gold Rush. We're on the border between Alaska and British Columbia. And
Is it
I
Tom
don't know.
Hanks?
Sam Steele is demonstrating the most superhuman restraint in police officer history,
Kills
and
the
just
driver?
sending a guy home. So Sam Steele, who was he? Pretty much, this is where he earned his. Everyone learned his name. Is just being a force of order during the Klondike Gold Rush. During the Klondike Gold Rush, which was between like 1897 and 1899. So honestly, this guy showing up is a little bit damn late. He probably wouldn't have gotten a good claim at all. Though he probably might have made a killing playing poker up in Dawson City. Who knows? Either way, a lot of Americans at the time never really understood as the Klondike as being a part of Canada. It was just like, yeah, it's on the Yukon River, that famous river in Alaska, where all the other gold strikes have been happening. So obviously I can just go there and do whatever I want because it's, it's not a British territory or anything. I can just do whatever I want. This is America. But when in fact it was not America. That's why he's got that's why they give the direction to have the guy have like a confused look on his face when he's like, the Klondike is Canada.
And have the worst American accent I've ever heard.
I'm going to the Klondike.
In the best way imaginable. I heard about that there gold up there. I'm going to go
look at your gold fields.
Get me some gold. I don't remember what he said. I watched it, but...
I watched it.
I mostly watch than hear.
Yeah.
I like the part where there's the horse. They're on their way to the convenience store to get the Klondike bar ice.
It's just maybe choke on
that
my
was
water.
good.
I thought you were just going to leave it as this. I liked the part where there was a horse and just leave it at that.
I thought I almost did, and then I just wanted. I forgot. Yeah, you know what? That's
Spat out my water.
Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well,
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
spit out your water.
I'm thinking of the guy coming out of the icebox in the Vine. Anyone else thinking about the Vine? I'm thinking about the Vine.
I'm always
Which
thinking
one?
about the Vine.
I'm always
what
thinking
would
about the
you
Vine,
do for
but
the Klondike bar one where the guy just crawls out of an icebox?
I haven't seen that one. I've seen other Klondike bar ones.
How much is Klondike bar do you want? Only a spoonful.
So yeah, this is kind of the Mountie Heritage Minute. It's the one about the Mounties. At the time, they're called Northwest Mounted Police. Eventually, they become Royal Canadian Mounted Police because they would be, I don't know, ordained by the Crown. That's kind of a thing. It's not like the, for example, it's like the Royal Canadian Navy and the Royal British Navy, but the Canadian Army and British Army aren't royal. I don't know why this is a thing. It just is. It's not specifically ordained by the Crown, but the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are. And so, but at the time they weren't. They still had the same, same red coats and Stetsons and everything that we're familiar with today. They were very prolific in the late 19th century. One of the earliest missions that Mounted Police had to engage in was setting up forts along the Canadian and American border on the 49th parallel in the Northwest, which is where the name comes from, Northwest Mounted Police, because remember, everything to the west of Toronto is the Northwest. And they were mainly preventing whiskey traders from coming from America up and selling booze to Native Americans and other people in places that they weren't allowed to. And they were mostly trying to defend against that. Sam Steele's most recent accomplishment prior to being a badass in the Yukon was escorting the Canadian Pacific Railroad across the continent as it was being built between 1881 and 1885. And he was also breaking strikes and keeping the protesters of the rail line out of the way. Normal cop shit. And he is... And another, but yeah, he's just a really prolific guy. He's so prolific. He's in The Last Spike photo. You know The Last Spike photo. It's the photo of The Last Spike. You have definitely seen it.
What's The Last Spike?
I don't know what that is.
I'm kidding. I know what it is.
I seriously don't.
I've been there, but...
I haven't.
You were there when you were like 6 months old, you said, Connor.
Yeah, I have been there, but I know what it is. It's the last spike of the railway.
It's the last spike of the CPR. It's the one with the really old guy hammering in the railway spike, which I should note, remember it was my last episode, the one on Edmonton. I didn't know who Lord Strathcona was. It was Donald Smith.
He was a lord?
Yeah,
Oh.
It was Donald Smith. Donald Smith was the main financier of the Canadian Pacific Railroad.
I was trying to think of some kind of joke about his name, but I can't do it.
Hold on.
Donald Duck? It's the best I got.
I literally have in the notes here, also known as Sir Moneybags. So yeah, kind of fast.
Scrooge McDuck, you mean?
Much funnier. Yeah, we'll go Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, and speaking of Donald Smith, he is the one hammering in the spike. I keep forgetting about this, but he's not very. That's the photo, by the way, Ray. That's the last spike photo. You have seen it before, even if you think you haven't. You definitely have.
I've never seen this picture before in my life.
You've definitely seen this photo
Yeah,
before.
absolutely.
Where would this be? Where?
Everywhere.
What do you mean everywhere?
It's a pretty famous
This is
photo.
like
I've seen it on the walls.
This is like foundational Myth Canada stuff. You like even if you don't remember it. If you don't remember it, that's fine. I'm just saying you have seen it. It is that prolific. It's the last spike photo.
I remind you, I've seen one Canadian Heritage Minute my whole life on TV before I was like 16.
That's okay. That's fine. I know. I get that. I'm just saying this image has gone by you. It may not have been of note at all to remember it, but it has.
Right.
It exists.
Yeah, you've absolutely
like
seen
everywhere in Canadian media. It doesn't mean that you need. It doesn't mean you have to remember it. Don't worry. I'll just keep gaslighting you here. You've seen it.
Okay. Thanks. Well,
But
if I did, maybe my eyes were closed, so I never actually saw it. I just died a little sorry about that.
That's fair.
But,
From what I understand, you can't actually see Sam Steele's face in the photo. I think he's way in the back, and all you can see is like a white hat. He may also be off to the left or the right because the image is cropped down a bit.
Huh. I do see the white hat.
Ray actually has a radar for that photo. Anytime they're within 10 feet of it, they like instinctively turn away from it.
No,
If for some reason I'm doing a 180, that's probably why.
It's like that one episode of Doctor Who, one thing that I saw YouTube shorts of about where there's those aliens that you forget after you see them.
The Silence.
Yeah.
Huh.
They're my favorite villain. Premiered in season 6. The Impossible Astronaut.
Next slide, Connor.
Good
to
episode.
the bingo.
I mean, wait, what were we talking about? I don't remember. The
Next
joke
slide.
was funny
There
for
we
me
go.
and
That's
Liam.
good.
Did
Here
you
we
guys
are.
know that
The joke was that you
Oh.
forget them.
Oh.
I'm funny.
You're so funny, dude. Anyway, the last Heritage Minute today is about the Rural Teacher one, which is the final one that came up in my little survey. Even though I probably would have also ranked it as most forgettable because I would have forgotten the Saguenay Fire one if it didn't come up. This is a 1992 one, another original series. Calling this the original series is very funny, actually.
Can't wait.
Star Trek?
I was trying to make a Star Trek joke. God damn it.
That was the
too,
joke!
bitch.
I was going to
The
say
joke is Star Trek. What other
can't-
fucking
The second one is
things
the Next
called the
Generation.
original
Ah!
series?
going to say I can't wait for Canadian
The
Heritage
later
Minutes, the
spin-off.
Next Generation.
I'm
Canadian
gonna
Heritage
go
Minutes,
I'm gonna go
Voyager.
put those notes in my
Canadian-
spreadsheet right away. I'm gonna make a
Canadian
bunch of Star
Heritage
Trek
Minutes, Deep Space Nine.
episodes.
What's
I'm
the
gonna go
Picard
make a-
spin-off called? Is it just called Picard?
It's just
It's just called
Picard.
Picard.
Canadian Heritage
Nice.
Minutes, Picard.
I've never
I
seen
came
a
to the
single
joke first.
fucking episode of Star
Surprise.
Trek, and I need to.
Star Trek is good. Well,
Thank
just
you.
watched
Thanks for the advice, pal. I'm really gonna know where to start.
I'd start with
we
Next
should watch
Gen.
season 2.
I watched the
episode
J.J.
9,
Abrams
Measure of a
ones.
Oh,
Man.
those are good, actually.
Oh.
I like those.
I've
What
never
you
seen them.
do? The J.J. Abrams ones?
I like them. I like all three of them.
Which ones are they?
There's the first one. Then there's Into Darkness, and then there's Beyond. Third one's probably my least favorite, but it's still fun. A lot of people hate 2, but I like 2. It's not great, but I like it. Like, it's just Wrath of Khan again, but like, Wrath of Khan is
Khan's cool.
it's pretty good.
That's
And the
that
bit
was with Ricardo Montoya. Give me a second. I forgot his last name.
Inigo Montoya?
The
No,
You killed my father,
Ricardo.
prepared to die?
No, Ricardo Montalban. He plays Khan, I believe,
I think so.
in Star Trek, and he's also
He's
the
in Spy
grandfather
Kids.
from Spy Kids. Yeah, he's also Rourke, I think, in Fantasy Island. I want to say.
The bit in Into Darkness where Picard comes back to where Kirk comes back to life with like the magic blood is dumb as shit, but I still like that movie. It's pretty good. And there's some stupid things where, like, Benedict Cumberbatch has, like, a personal teleporter or transporter, and then he uses it once, transports halfway across the universe, then that never comes up again, despite it being, it would have come in handy on multiple times. He's never mentioned that again. That is universe-changing technology. They never mentioned it again. But I still like that movie.
Go lie down. Go lie down. Go.
What? What are you whispering?
Sorry, my dog's in
Oh, your dog.
My dog. Connor, go lay down. I'm tired. I'm talking about Star Trek.
I'm also tired.
No, it's okay. I'm joking.
I was gonna have a nap when I got home, but my cat was in my bed, so I can't.
I don't mean
you just
I don't
gotta...
mean to say shut the fuck up too rudely, but this is the second last slide. Yeah, so this Heritage Minute, Rural Teacher, isn't actually based on any kind of real event. It's just based off this Robert Harris painting, shown on screen now. I forgot to mention earlier.
Fan fiction.
That's right.
The first historical record of fan fiction. Well, not really. First Canadian historical mention of fan fiction.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I'm gonna do.
I forgot to mention earlier that this painting, as well as the painting on the Laura Secord slide, they're the two featured on the Wikipedia page for Heritage Minutes in general. Fun fact, which leads to their popularity. However, this painting, Robert Harris, a meeting of the school trustees. Through the whole episode, it's just the school teacher, the woman, trying to help explain to these trustees. It's like, yeah, no, my teaching methods are sound, and these kids are reading shit from the Bible. It's great. But generally, this Heritage Minute is just about. It was just this painting was kind of turned into a short little dramatization and a little celebration of one-room rural schoolhouses, which used to be the only place to learn anything if you lived not in a major city. Yeah, it's just kind of that. I don't know. There's no real interesting bits in this. I mean, the one guy there clenching his fist is doing so because he can't read. That's the lore we know now. That's canon, I think. I mean, for real, illiteracy.
I'm just really good at bluffing.
I'm proud of you.
Just guess.
Yeah, that book you told us that you hated so much.
I didn't understand the pictures.
That entire.
Making sure we don't actually read the book.
All of the presentations you have done, you wrote out the script and then guessed what you had written with 100% accuracy.
ChatGPT wrote it.
Somebody's been whispering it to you.
And I had a bot read it to me.
Yeah,
and then you... Yeah, exactly.
Your little Jiminy Cricket in your ear.
But,
inside your
ear. It's like the Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but it's for content.
Yes, dear. Yeah, no, that's... next slide, please. That's all the Heritage Minutes.
Yay!
This is a certified House Hippo moment. I do have a little bit about the House Hippo.
Please indulge.
First aired in May of 1999 by Concerned Children's Advertisers as an ad on Canadian television. It's later known as Companies Committed to Kids, which sounds like a bunch of pedophiles. This is a public service announcement, a PSA, and it's about being critical of what you see on TV. Like the narration at the end of the commercial is like, that wasn't real, was it? Some things you see may seem real, but this
was an exception.
Use your brain.
This was real.
Be critical thinking.
You gotta leave your toast out, guys. Peanut butter toast. I love that.
Yeah. It's the best kind.
Yeah, and but yeah, it's kind of before it's like even like being concerned about like I guess like being critical of what you see on TV even before like the fucking internet became widely accessible and popular. Like it's 1999. Sure, you got AOL, but I mean most Canadians don't even like wouldn't have internet access even in 1999. Internet's brand new at this point, so you're not even thinking about like and no one had thought to like go on the internet and lie yet, right? Like that's still a couple years in the future.
Speaking of the internet, I was trying to find the script of the House Hippo commercial, and the first thing that came up was someone explaining on Reddit, and when I clicked the link, it blocked it for mature content, so I have to
Ray
go
has
into
found
the
House
app.
Hippo smut.
I don't have the app. It's the second fan fiction ever written in Canadian history.
That's right.
But yeah, I'm not gonna just house hippos are very timid creatures and are rarely seen, but they will defend their territory if provoked. That's the first part. That's all it would give me,
That's all it would give you.
Yeah, unless I want to,
I don't
count.
I don't really want to read off the house hippo thing.
You
can also tell the fucking.
Boxes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you can also tell how shit the fucking CGI is. Because look at how like contrasted.
It's real.
It's it's a real thing.
It's 19. No, Connor, look at how look at how contrasty the hippo's shadow is compared to the chair right next to it.
I don't see any issues with this. This is a real image.
We should get the Quarter crew on this, see if they can debunk this or not. I love those videos. Honestly, those like CGI videos that really go into good detail. They're pretty good.
But we don't have to get them in on this because this is real.
Anyway, and since this is real, and with the third endorsement of a separate entity, that concludes this episode of Don't Even Get Me Started, a podcast about presentations about stuff. There we go. This is the last slide. This is
Outstanding.
All done.
We're only ending with bangers here.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Plugs? I don't have anything to plug.
I searched up the etymology of the word jizz.
Oh yeah. Do share. Get it in at the end here.
Well, okay, so
this podcast is sponsored by Jizz.
The first time it was seen was in 1922 or 1921 in a column for the Manchester Guardian, but its original a definition is the physical and behavioral characteristics of a bird that enable it to be immediately recognized by an experienced birder as a certain type of bird, especially to a family or genus level. And then the etymology 2 on Wikipedia says variation or shortening of jism. I don't know. It doesn't give me a date of when the jizz.
When we suddenly go, dude, check out the jism on that bird.
So you're telling me like a chickadee or a crow would be a jizz? Is that the idea here?
Yeah, I guess so. The characteristics that we can recognize if you're an experienced birder, that is. I assume that's an allusion to like bird watching or something like that.
No, birder is the noun for a person who watches birds.
Indeed, it is. A bird watcher. I don't know why they're called birders.
It is birder.
Even worse. Yeah, it sounds like the bird version of like a furry or a scaly or something like that.
No, that's a feathery.
Which makes the jizz. Is that what it's called?
Probably.
I want to know. Okay.
I'm not gonna confirm this for you.
What's the bird equivalent of a furry? I'm looking it up.
Anyway, while Ray's looking that up, besides liking and subscribing, any other plugs
Twitter,
there, Connor?
subscribe to CJSiev.
I personally recommend you don't go on Twitter. I'll eventually have a photography Instagram.
We have an
Instagram.
I'm getting into art, but I don't have it yet.
Art has a Ray Instagram. Ray has an
Art has
Instagram.
I saw that, I think.
It's just, I just on Instagram. I would say my Twitter has like some art, but I don't want anyone to find my Twitter. It's not the same as my Instagram, so they'll never find it. But
once again, recommending against Twitter.
You can follow the podcast on Twitter. There's literally nothing there other than
and a maintenance update I had once
login. I'm normally
fucked up an episode a couple weeks ago.
The Instagram login. You can't log in on the
mobile
app. Is that what you said?
I had to tweet a couple of weeks back when I fucked up the upload of an episode. I was like, I'll fix it. Don't worry about it. Like, I know
we remember that fuck up clearly.
Would have known, but I put a tweet out anyways.
Nobody would have noticed. Not a
single
soul.
Now it's in the history books.
Actually, no, I noticed.
Yeah,
actually,
Ray
no,
noticed too. I heard about it from Ray.
I also noticed.
The morning Ray was like, "Wait, you fucked up the episode upload."
Well, the thing is that this
I
Spotify
accidentally
was the
uploaded the
5th
wrong
episode
file,
instead of
and
the 6th
then
episode.
I uploaded the
And
wrong
then for the YouTube, you
thumbnail.
just
Yeah.
uploaded the wrong thumbnail.
So
Yeah.
don't
it was
upload
minor
episodes
difference. My
really
phone
late at
minor,
night
but-
when you forget about it.
We say you
with-
can
No.
take a break, and he's like, no, fuck that, I need
Speaking
content.
of content,
And with those moral revelations, thanks you so much for listening.
Wait, I
we'll
had it.
see you
It's
later.
called
When-
featheries,
I
by
had
the
a-
way.
Thank you. We should end it right on that, by the way.
I had
Connor.
a coworker who
called
was really into
feathers.
bird watching.
Yes.
No, I had to get this off
Stop
my...
doing
No, no,
anecdotes.
this is fun.
Podcast is over.
And then she showed me a picture. It was like, dude, look at this bird. It was like a really amazing picture, and I was like, oh, cool. How'd you take that? And I was asking, like, kind of like how, like, did you like have to like hunt this thing down? Did you have like a really crazy, really long lens or something? She's kind of like looks at me just like, camera, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh.
And then I never talked to her again.
She got the Ethan.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
Camera. Night, idiots.
Good night.